man who literally invented critical thinking was executed for being too smart. That man was Socrates. And if you think that was just ancient history, let me tell you something that'll blow your mind. The exact same thing is happening to you right now, every single day. You see, 2,400 years ago in Athens, there lived a man who had the audacity to ask questions. And you know what happened to him? The most advanced civilization of its time, the birthplace of democracy itself, literally voted to kill him. Why? Because he made people uncomfortable by exposing how little they actually knew. Now, before you think this is just some boring philosophy lesson, let me ask you this. When was the last time you had a brilliant idea at work, only to watch some smooth-talking idiot take credit for it? Or maybe you've noticed how the most ignorant people on social media somehow have millions of followers while actual experts are ignored. Here's what's terrifying. We like to think we've evolved since ancient Athens. We pride ourselves on being more civilized, more rational, more fair. But what if I told you that we're doing the exact same thing to smart people today that the Athenians did to Socrates? We're just using different methods. 3 months ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, brilliant software engineer, MIT graduate, solves problems that most people can't even understand. And he told me something that stopped me cold. He said, "I've learned that the fastest way to kill my career is to be right too often." Think about that for a moment. In 2025, being consistently correct is a career killer. And it hit me. This is exactly what happened to Socrates. He had this annoying habit of asking people to define their terms. A politician would say, "We need more justice." And Socrates would simply ask, "What do you mean by justice?" Suddenly, the politician would realize they had no idea what they were actually talking about. But here's the kicker. Instead of thanking Socrates for exposing their ignorance, they hated him for it. And we do the same thing today. We hate the person who asks, "But have you actually thought this through?" We despise a colleague who points out that the emperor has no clothes. We punish the whistleblower, ignore the expert, and promote the person who tells us exactly what we want to hear, regardless of whether it's true. If you ever felt like you're living in a world that's turned upside down, where stupidity is rewarded and intelligence is punished, then you need to understand what I'm about to share with you. And if this resonates with you, if you felt this frustration burning in your chest, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what I'm about to reveal will change how you see everything. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the hidden psychological and social mechanisms that make society consistently choose idiots over intelligent people. I'll reveal why your intelligence might actually be sabotaging your success, and most importantly, I'll give you the strategies that smart people throughout history, including Socrates himself, have used to navigate a world that doesn't appreciate them. You see, my dear viewer, there's a reason why Niccolò Machiavelli wrote The Prince in secret and why it was banned by the Catholic Church for over 400 years. It revealed too much about how power actually works. And what I'm about to tell you will make you understand why intelligence is not just ignored, it is systematically suppressed. The masses believe that merit rises to the top, that cream floats, that justice prevails. How beautifully naive. The truth is far more sinister and far more strategic. Truth number one, stupidity is not an accident. It is a feature of the system. Walk into any corporation, and you will observe what I call the mediocrity pyramid. At the bottom, you have the genuinely competent people, the engineers, the analysts, the ones who actually understand how things work. These people are dangerous to those above them because competence threatens incompetence. So what does the system do? It promotes the harmless, the smooth talkers, the ones who know just enough to sound intelligent to their superiors, but not enough to actually threaten them. You see, intelligence as subordinate is like a mirror to a mediocre superior. It reflects their own inadequacy. And humans, my friends, will destroy mirrors before they will change what they see in them. Truth number 2, the crowd fears what it cannot understand and destroys what it fears. Look at our political landscape. The most successful politicians are not the most intelligent. They are the most skilled at appearing intelligent to people less intelligent than themselves. They speak in sound bites because the crowd thinks in sound bites. They offer simple solutions to complex problems because complexity requires effort, and effort is what the masses wish to avoid. Machiavelli understood this when he wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel." The masses judge by appearance, not substance, by confidence, not competence. Truth number 3, society rewards idiots because idiots are useful to those in power. An intelligent population is a dangerous population. Intelligent people ask inconvenient questions. They demand evidence. They think for themselves. But idiots? Idiots are controllable. They consume without questioning. They follow without thinking. They blame their problems on convenient scapegoats rather than examining the systems that created their misery. Why do you think we have a culture that celebrates ignorance? Why are anti-intellectualism and proud stupidity so fashionable? Because someone benefits from your ignorance. When you don't understand how the economy works, you can't question why your wages stagnate while executive compensation soars. When you don't understand how media works, you can't recognize when you're being manipulated. The truly intelligent person understands this game. They recognize that in a world run by the mediocre, appearing too intelligent is a liability. So they learn to hide their intelligence behind a mask of acceptable stupidity. I have watched brilliant people dumb down their vocabulary in meetings. I have seen gifted analysts present their findings in crayon-simple PowerPoints because anything more sophisticated would confuse their audience. I have witnessed genuine experts bite their tongues while charlatans confidently dispense misinformation because they know that correcting the charlatan would make them seem difficult. Do you see the pattern now? Intelligence is not rewarded because intelligence threatens the existing order. And those who benefit from the existing order, the mediocre managers, the incompetent leaders, the fraudulent experts, they have every incentive to keep intelligent people down. This is why they killed Socrates. Not because he was wrong, but because he was right. Not because he was ignorant, but because he exposed ignorance. Not because he was a threat to truth, but because he was a threat to those who profited from lies. 400 years ago, Galileo Galilei looked through a telescope and saw something that terrified the powerful. Evidence that the earth was not the center of the universe. The church had built its entire authority on the geocentric model. Galileo's observations didn't just challenge astronomy, they challenged power itself. So what did they do? They didn't refute his evidence. They couldn't. Instead, they made it illegal to teach his discoveries. They forced him to recant under threat of torture. They put him under house arrest for the rest of his life. Not because he was wrong, but because he was right, and his rightness was inconvenient. Today, we see the same pattern with climate scientists who are ignored or attacked for presenting inconvenient data, with economists who are marginalized for questioning popular policies, with doctors who are censored for challenging medical orthodoxy. The weapons have changed from torture to career destruction, but the goal remains the same: silence the inconvenient truth teller. Throughout history, every society has had its Socrates figures, the people who ask the questions others are afraid to ask. And every society has found ways to silence them. Giordano Bruno, burned at the stake for suggesting the universe was infinite. Ignaz Semmelweis, dismissed from his hospital for insisting doctors wash their hands. He died in an asylum. Nikola Tesla died poor and forgotten while Edison became rich selling inferior technology. Alan Turing, prosecuted for his sexuality despite saving millions of lives by breaking the Enigma code. Do you see it now? The pattern is always the same. First, the intelligent person discovers something that challenges the existing order. Second, they try to share this knowledge with others. Third, those who benefit from the status quo destroy them, either literally or figuratively. Now, I'm going to tell you something that will disturb you to your core. The reason society rewards idiots isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature of your own mind. Your brain is literally wired to prefer stupidity over intelligence. And once you understand why, you'll never look at human behavior the same way again. Let's start with what psychologists call the cognitive ease principle. Your brain is fundamentally lazy. It burns 20% of your body's energy, so it's constantly looking for shortcuts. When faced with two explanations, one simple and wrong, the other complex and correct, your brain will choose the simple one almost every time. Think about the last time someone explained cryptocurrency to you. If they gave you a detailed explanation about blockchain technology, distributed ledgers, and cryptographic hashing, your brain probably started to shut down. But if someone said, "It's like digital gold," suddenly it made sense, even though that explanation is completely wrong. This is why conspiracy theories spread faster than scientific papers. The government is controlled by lizard people. It's simple to understand than the complex reality of how political systems actually work. Your brain literally finds a stupid explanation more satisfying than the intelligent one. Here's the second psychological trap. Your brain equates confidence with competence, even when they're completely unrelated. The Dunning-Kruger effect shows us that the most incompetent people are the most confident, while truly intelligent people doubt themselves. But here's the kicker. Your brain doesn't know this. When you see someone speaking with absolute certainty, your primitive brain thinks, "This person must know what they're talking about." I want you to imagine two job candidates. Candidate A says, "Well, this is a complex problem with multiple variables, and I need to analyze the data carefully before making a recommendation." Candidate B says, "I know exactly what to do. We just need to implement my proven system." Who do you think gets hired? The intelligent person shows uncertainty because they understand complexity. The idiot shows confidence because they don't understand anything. But your brain and the hiring manager's brain interprets the uncertainty as weakness and the ignorance as strength. The third psychological trap is the most dangerous. Your need to belong is stronger than your need to be right. For 200,000 years, being rejected by your tribe meant death. Your brain still thinks this way. When faced with a choice between being right and being accepted, your unconscious mind will choose acceptance every time. This is why intelligent people often stay silent in groups. Their brain calculates that expressing a dissenting view, even a correct one, threatens their social position. Meanwhile, the loudest idiot in the room gets positive reinforcement because they're saying what everyone wants to hear. In corporate settings, this creates what I call the conformity cascade. One person expresses a popular but wrong opinion. Others, wanting to belong, agree publicly while disagreeing privately. Soon, everyone is publicly supporting an idea that privately they know is stupid. Social media has weaponized this bias. The algorithm doesn't reward truth. It rewards engagement. And what creates more engagement than content that makes people feel like they're part of the right tribe? The platforms literally profit from your tribal biases. The fourth and most sinister trap. Your brain treats intellectual challenges as physical threats. When someone smarter than you explains something complex, your brain activates the same regions that respond to physical danger. You literally feel threatened by superior intelligence. This isn't conscious. It's happening in your amygdala, below the level of awareness. This is why smart employees often get marginalized. Their very presence makes others feel inadequate, which triggers a threat response. The group unconsciously works to eliminate the threat, not because a smart person is doing anything wrong, but because their intelligence makes others feel bad about themselves. Smart managers know this. They understand that hiring someone smarter than them might improve results, but it will also make them feel inferior every day. So they hire people who make them feel smart, not people who are actually smart. Now you understand why Socrates was executed. It wasn't really about corrupting youth or challenging gods. It was because he triggered all these psychological responses simultaneously. He made people feel stupid, threaten their tribal beliefs, challenge their comfort zones, and expose their ignorance. Every time you see an intelligent person being ignored, marginalized, or attacked, these four psychological mechanisms are at work. Your brain, and everyone's brain, is wired to prefer comfortable stupidity over uncomfortable intelligence. This is how the system perpetuates itself. It's not a conspiracy. It's psychology. Every time you choose a simple answer over the complex one, you're participating in a system that rewards idiocy. The systems around us aren't neutral. They're not broken either. They work exactly as intended. Beneath the surface of our institutions, workplaces, and media lies an invisible architecture, one that exploits the very psychology of intelligent individuals and uses it against them. The truly sinister part? These aren't accidental outcomes. Your natural cognitive strengths, curiosity, critical thinking, nuance, intellectual humility have been turned into liabilities in a world engineered to reward surface-level charm, conformity, and simplicity. For instance, intelligent people often believe that doing great work will lead to recognition. But in reality, it's not excellence that wins, it's connections. While the competent toil in obscurity, those who master the social game rise. Relationships, not results, drive promotions. Intelligence, by contrast, threatens those in power. It's unpredictable, it questions things, and so it gets sidelined in favor of mediocrity that is loyal and safe. Even more disturbing is how competence can become a threat. When someone is labeled overqualified, it's not a compliment. It's code for too sharp to control. Insecure managers instinctively avoid those who might expose their own inadequacies. So they reject brilliance in favor of comfortable mediocrity. And then there's the paradox of communication. The deeper your knowledge, the more complexity you see. But that complexity sounds like weakness to the masses, who crave certainty, not nuance. So the bold fool with a one-line slogan wins more trust than the thoughtful expert who says it depends. And what of education? Credentialism has become a subtle form of control. Degrees are not signals of intelligence, but a conformity. Proof that you've learned to give the expected answers. Worse still, they leave people indebted to the very structures that suppress independent thought. The smarter you are, the more you realize the trap. And yet, you've already paid for your place in it. All of this works in tandem. Together, these forces create a silent machinery that elevates the compliant and silences the capable. It isn't a conspiracy in the traditional sense. No one needs a planet. It evolves naturally because it serves those who benefit. The average, the insecure, the entrenched. And the final twist? You've likely helped the system survive. Unknowingly. Every time you picked nice over competent, rewarded clarity over complexity, or favor familiar story over an inconvenient truth, you reinforce the very dynamic you now feel trapped within. This is why the world feels upside down. Because it is. But there's hope. Because history shows that intelligence, while suppressed, is never extinguished. And those who understand the rules of the game, even if they didn't create them, can still learn how to bend them. If this video changed how you see the world, hit that like button and subscribe. Because understanding these patterns is just the beginning. Learning to master them is what separates the smart people who complain from the smart people who win. And if you want to dive deeper into these strategies, if you want specific tactics for your industry, your situation, your challenges, let me know in the comments. Because every intelligent person deserves to know how to succeed in a world that seems designed for idiots. Remember, the game is rigged, but it's not unwinnable. You just need to know the real rules.